Hello everybody, my name is Beefman101 and welcome back to Buried. Now, it's been a while since I've recorded the last episode, so I can't exactly tell you what happened, but from what I remember is some guy in the government facility we were in threatened to kill us with a gun, but then we took control of him and then asked him to take us to a med kit for Marcus. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm getting. Again, I haven't reviewed the footage, I haven't had time, I only just found this hour clip today to record a video, so let's begin chapter 3, shall we? Ooh. That's some code up there. We must follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with code and data that is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the Operations Center in just about every space travel movie I have ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some permanent bit of information. Where's the first aid kit? I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks as if he has forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. Oh yeah, he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall. I assume is that the emergency vault where he got the rifle from. Oh yeah, that's right. We were looking for a med kit for Marcus. Oh, no, wait, no. Marcus is the bad guy. Who's the other guy? I really can't remember. But we're looking for a med kit, that's right. But we're also trying to figure out what's gone on in this government facility and why there are bright balls of light everywhere, I think. Okay, so we can look at computer monitors or peer into the open vault. What's on the monitors? I can make sense of very little that I see, mostly numbers, odd-looking maps, and charts, although they show what I assume is the working, beating heart of the peculiar facility Dennis and I have stumbled into. Aside from the charts, there are scrolling numbers running along the bottom of the screen. There are some temperature readings, but that's all I can tell for sure. I see one screen in particular that I assume would mean bad news if anyone using these monitors for work. Failure trial 142B aborted. Error 4532-5. Danger. Anomaly detected. There we go. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit, and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. Sorry about my talking. Come on, I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and the arriving in this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and over his shoulder as the dry blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This may hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. Oh god, well if you rip it off gently, it's gonna goddamn hurt. You gotta get it off quickly. You decide to rip the shirt off of Dennis quickly. Figuring that an odd rip-off-the-band-aid metaphor applies here, I tear the shirt off him quickly. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. What the hell, man? Sorry, I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for the moment, wincing in pain. He leans against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wound is more visible now, although it is particularly hidden by the blood that is starting to clot around it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I look over at Marcus, hopefully, and ask, "Do you have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be of much help anyways. I start by taking out the several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark, and I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that is for sure. But I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see any tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked in at me. He looks appreciative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says hopefully. How bad does it look? Do you think I'll live? It looks really bad. No, tell him it'll be fine. Not, hey, yeah, you're probably gonna die. You choose to comfort Dennis. Good to know, he says, because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks. That's a relief. I won't lie. You're gonna have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze around the wound and bind it with medical tape. I then reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. Finally, I patch up the bruises on my head, cursing myself against it for not grabbing my hard hat. Oh, that's why we need the hard hat. I look back at Marcus, and he's looking back at us, deep in thought. Are these first aid kits all you have in the facility, I ask him? If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I notice that his defensive structure is no longer there. Something is different now, just a slight change to his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that has him frightened, more than he already was before. What is it, I ask? What's wrong? His eyes travel around the room, and it's obvious he's trying to decide whether not to tell me the truth. Come on, spit it out, or get up and look at the monitors. I'm gonna take a look for myself. Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that I can't even comprehend, hidden in the complex information of most of the screens. On one screen, I see that it looks like a power meter, that it's slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashed beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failure. Foreign entity." Another message trickling on the bottom of the black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3. Containment doors engaged. Override?" Oh god. I see still scenes on other. Oh my god, I still see scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras, showing hallways and passages from somewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. Oh my god. From just off the screen, I see what I think might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso have somehow been merged or melted into the floor. God. I might ask him what's wrong with that person. I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell, I ask. Is there something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing that he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold, and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is mistakenly mine. I can even see my truck. Something like fury starts to rise up in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him. A few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, and I want them now. But I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. I'm gonna ask him calmly. If he doesn't do anything, hopefully there's another option for me to kick his ass. Could you please explain to me why you've been spying on me and my crew? My anger is prodding at me, and I still have to hold it back. It's near the circus demanding a release. It was part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew's been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground, less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I said. How could I have known? Marcus gives me the same crooked, trembling smile that is beginning to creep me out. Because those things draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of equipment is on private property. The timber tract you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So, even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such a low-level clearance knows this about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why don't you recognize us when we met in the hallway, I ask. He shakes his head and exiles. Like it's obvious, the cameras have a bird's eye view. I can't see faces. We just track bodies and names. So where the hell is my crew? Look, Marcus says. All of you are on the site as usual before the incident. It had been a few hours since I had checked, though. I can tell he is starting to get rattled by this interrogation. He continues with his eyes fixed on the keyboard. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. I'd tell you if I did, okay? Well, are they inside the facility, I shout? You have cameras everywhere, right? Look for them. Marcus puts his hands up defensively. I've been looking all over. I haven't seen your crew. But he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it is a possibility. I'm still shocked that we're being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus said. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are about 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people know this place exists. Wow, this is a really secretive facility. Jeez. Well, okay then. I should probably ask calmly, what the hell goes on here? I might be aggressive. I mean, he doesn't know where my crew is. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. I honestly don't know anything. Probably very little. But what I know is that it's more than Black Ops. What does that mean, I ask? There are scientists here who have been disowned by their governments because of the nature of their work. You get it now? I don't, not at all. But if I want to know about that, you said there are 36 employees? I said, where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure and cringes. If there was a power failure that is not correct in time, there's no yelling, there's no telling. But they were here in the government facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. God, Dennis says. I look over to him, and he looks pale as a ghost. He stood up, and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What, I ask? He simply points to the monitor, and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site. But more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and Tony's crushed body several feet away from it, where I'd pulled him out. Tony! The fact of his death seems abstract almost, like it had happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know that you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door outside. The shape is fast and in the shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. Someone else is here, Marcus says, wheeling around. He sounds very happy to discover this, so I try to follow his lead. If something bad has happened at this facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis, after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's somebody who can help us. We'll be right back. I'm not leaving, Dennis. Are you gonna be okay? That's what we should ask him. It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him as I head for the door. I'm still holding my rifle in my hand and don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back at Dennis, I run into the second level hallway. Okay, so we've left Dennis dying in a room. Nobody think this is a bad idea? Because it seems pretty terrible. But they finally look at Dennis, I run to the second floor hallway. Okay. What's going on then? Show me a hallway. Oh, it kind of looks better now than the creepy one I used as a thumbnail. That music is freaky though. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that had just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems darker, even though the lights are on now. The hallway is adorned with numerous yellow doorways and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark, cutting quickly to the left down the corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw, blazed by the command center just moments ago. Then it occurs to me that this person could have been like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. Shout at them. More systems, make yourself known if they've got a gun. Jeez. Hey, stop. Who's there? I get no response, and I'm unassured if I should be relieved or upset by this. Okay. The last person we met nearly killed me with a rifle. Why would this person be any different? I quickly dart around the corner and see the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair and a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently, and then looks at my rifle. I'm not going to use it, obviously. Now, how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge, catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I really don't know where they are, she says. Do you know what's happened, Marcus asks? The power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says, but there's an experiment taking place. When the outage occurred, something happened, and she trails off here, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy says. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to the command center to see if there any security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun, listening to their conversation. I feel totally in the dark. What experiment? Amy looked at me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you? Anyways, she asked. I quickly give her a story. A logger stranded in the woods, following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks at Marcus and said, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident. There's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all of their questions that are piling up in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. Well, ask for more details. If I ask a question and then Dennis dies, I'm gonna feel bad. Let's ask about the help for Dennis. I decide that, despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help to be had here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says, but you would have to find Colonel Birksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where is everybody else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees, as if somebody struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed, and some are just, I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. What the hell is going on here? Something here with us, Amy says. We're conducting an experiment, and it just went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. I don't even know much. An entity? Whatever it is, it's still here somewhere. Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? I ask. No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of securities beyond my clearance. So, what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to go find Birksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd floor, in the hangar. Then let's go, I say. That's not easy, Amy says, again looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through, and the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming in the 3rd floor. Came through what? What came through? All I know is that the others referred to them as entities. Amy shuddered as she recalls the horrors of what she had seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. The things I saw on the monitors, they were crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Birksdale guy. Thanks for your help. Wait, Marcus said. I'm sticking with you. You want to get out of here? We have to find Birksdale, right? Yes, Amy says. But Birksdale's on the 3rd floor, and it's dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back towards the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear footsteps behind me getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look as she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you knows the best way around here, she says. Looking for Birksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. Oh god. So something came through what? Like a portal? Is there like portals in this game? This is getting scary. I don't know what's going on. Oh my god, okay, continue. Jeez. I wanna know. Back in the command center. How could you tell anything from those screens? We enter the command center, and I'm happy to see that Dennis is regained some of his color. We're gonna get you help, I say. I tell him. And then we're gonna go find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you ripped off the shirt earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. One of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what we can do to you. This facility is not safe. What can they do? Is there any of them on this floor? I'm not sure, she says, but they're down on the 3rd floor, so we need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but then nods his agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back into our hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site, and I feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitors, showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself I'm not looking for any signs of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall, and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us. It's like a physical presence. Okay, let's go look. Ooh, elevator. I'm a whisper. We step inside the elevator, and those pristine doors close. Okay, I'm not. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that we mean no harm, but I'm also not gonna put the rifle down. So you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about here? What went wrong? When she starts to answer my question, I can tell that there is something of relief for her. To get some of it off her chest. There had been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 3 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there's any real, viable science behind point-to-point instantization? Like teleporting, I asked? Oh my god, Marcus. If I had no idea, I knew there'd be some sort of weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on the level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me, Dennis asks? I can tell what he wants to sound, as if mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached, and its intestines were on the outside of its body. Oh god. What does this have to do with us now? Did you ever perfect it? I ask if she got it right. Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made that same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time, in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to figure out to tweak in order to make this process completely safe was figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon its arrival. Unknit? Yes, deconstructed and then translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on the straight course to its destination. When this process occurs, we are deforming space-time, and we're recreating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly, Dennis asked. Because there are more dimensions in space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So, when you send a rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask. Basically. And because of that, we're trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. things that have a great deal of population, would be scared of it if we knew what we were doing, hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out right as we were in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with an authority of somebody who knows what she's talking about. Is that why those creatures are here? What have you seen in these dimensions? Is that what the creatures are there, though? Because that's kind of cool. That's my assumption, she says. I wasn't present for the experiment. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm giving access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset, you guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes on what you see. I cannot believe I wasted my time for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quiet. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how we all react to this. That's incredible, yo. You're impressed by Amy's work. So this is like an interdimensional stuff, I ask. In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time I've been working for... He laughs cruelly, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space-time. Marcus continues. When the elevator door opens, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside the elevator, we step out into what appears to be a massive industrial area. The carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I've ever seen in the upper levels. Oh, here we go. Oh my god. What the hell happened? The area looks industrial, like everything was built for utility only. But more noticeable than that is all the blood. My god, I have never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There are more personnel in this area. When the experiment went haywire, she says, as if the explanation makes it any better. The research you do down here better have been worth it, I say. We have to get moving before we lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale is in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'd be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor, the silence of level 3, and Amy's talk of the lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. Let's ask Amy to go in the lead so she can tell us where to go. The four of us start walking again, Amy taking the lead. We stop walking and then come to the remains of what looks like to be 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies were there because they have been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look as if they've been fused together. Another man looks like his leg was welded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror. His mouth pried open in an eternal scream. Oh my god. Let's look at the bodies, yo. What's going on? I see his face pushed down into the floor like putty, rarely attached to a separated skull. A single dead eye stares at me. I think I might puke. Behind me, Marcus does just that. As I listen to him, heaving, my eyes cannot leave the carnage. There is blood everywhere. Everywhere. A crimson pool flooding the floor. There are hunks of skin and tissues splattered on the wall, and a strand of unspooled intestine that clings to the floor like a dead snake. Dennis steps up beside me, and when he speaks out, his voice is soft and flat. What the hell could do that to somebody, he asks. The things I saw, Amy says, they could pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she is visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back at me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes again go to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go, she asks? Well, we need to move on. For some reason, I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling to try and process it all. My god, what the hell happened? This is brutal. It's just like if the zombie apocalypse happened in real life. Maybe it's zombies that came through the portal. Oh my god, that'd be so cool. Yeah, let's go. We leave the grisly site behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. When I can tell, the next room was an open area for experimentation. The place hasn't been destroyed. It has been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped. Their very materials distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine that has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is a standard violence I was expecting to see. There is a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage, and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but when it makes me wonder if Amy saw it all while it was happening, jeez. Do you know how these people died? I only caught a glimpse of it, she says, taking a deep breath. I was the closest to the exit, so I just started running. But it was just trying to focus on It was just like trying to focus your eye on something that was too close. People's bodies just started twisting and turning. And the thing, what did this? It looked like... She doesn't finish. She's cut off by some echoing through this facility. It comes from behind us, and slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds like almost static from an AM radio, but there is a high-pitched noise beneath it. I can't even start to fathom. What the hell is that, I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper, one of those creatures. That's what they sound like, Dennis asked? I see that he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on my rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. How far away do you think they are? About 100 meters, she answers, not far. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage. Now with a new purpose in our step, we barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway, when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and what I can tell is Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly, and as we head towards the hallway in front of us. How much further to the hangar? Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up, in his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then, huh? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us as if some kind of violent new gravity. Oh yeah, another corridor. This one looks nicer. The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it was designed only to be used as for select maintenance workers. What's going on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but only he shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing at Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says. But at the end there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there, but it's almost the most direct path to the hangar's entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hallway, I take a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand to an end. Blood's become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see how far the hallway extends to in the darkness. This hallway has a occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue further down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of those things do you see, Dennis asked Amy. 3. But that's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like, Dennis asked. We can talk about something else. Yeah, we're dealing with it. Yeah, what are we dealing with? Ooh. Let's ask that. I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle with trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big, they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he ever imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out. Angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow these things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There is an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together we might be able to pull it closed behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it will work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, shooting at me. We need to get to the hangar now. Oh god. What do we do? I mean, we could close the doors, which might take time. They could come through. They could hear us shutting the door. I think we just keep going. You decide to leave the doors open and run. No, I say to the group. With all the carnage back there, I doubt we could stop them. That's what I'm saying, Marcus agrees. Let's haul ass. Amy tries to speak up, but the rest of us are already darting down the hallway. I speed towards the hangar doors, not even looking back to see how far Amy has fallen behind us. Panic and hope are fighting within me. I cannot stop myself when sprinting. The fact that yet another shrill noise is as well in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost like they're calling out to one another. The doors of the hangar sit up like the head of an entrance to some enormous labyrinth. Oh god, okay. So we're here now. What's going on? Sorry if my mic gets quiet. I don't know how to stop that. Oh, that's a slash and a half. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and has a blinking red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock. A failsafe from the lockdown, Amy says. I would have never been down here before if I would have known this door was here. Wait, I've never been down here before, okay. How? Amy says. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, she says, you need to override from here first, and then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the 2nd floor, I ask? Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Do you hear those things, she says? There's no way in hell I'm going back towards them, through that small hallway. If we want to get into the hangar doors, we must have to go back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't any other way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there's another elevator, but we need to go through biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You 2 go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we'll need to be armed. I'm gonna give Amy the gun. I don't quite trust Marcus, you know, if you know what I'm saying. Okay, give Amy the gun. I hand Amy the rifle. She turns to go. Marcus gives me a concerned look, but follows behind her. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were 2, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room, near the hangar doors, I ask? Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Well, I might as well give it a try. I go to the doors, try to open it, to find that it's locked. Push with your shoulder. I give it a hard shove, but nothing budges. I'm about to try again when I hear a gunshot from just down the hallway. At first, I thought it was Amy and Marcus had come up with one of those things, one of those monsters, but I don't hear any strange static noise. I've come to isolate with them. Alarm bells go off in my head before I know what I'm doing. I'm heading back to wait. Alarm bells go off in my head, and before I know it, I'm heading back down the hallway from the hangar doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into that maintenance room. Where are you going, he asked. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door where Amy and Marcus went. Oh god. Betcha Marcus shot Amy. Ooh. This looks cool. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between these massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. Yeah, I'm wondering what's in there. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out the intersection of the halls up ahead. I think I overheard a voice, a woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop. Let go of the gun. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense, none at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take her gun away. Oh god. This doesn't work. He throws her on the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out the hallway and acts like what he's doing is perfectly normal. Stop, Marcus, my god. I start rushing over before I know what I'm really doing. I bring my fist as hard as the ground across the bridge of his nose, and I'm rewarded with a sick crackling sound. He cries as he falls to the ground looking at me. He doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches her neck and gasps for air. I start to feel like the moment was too late, just as I see what the rifle's been thrown across on the floor. Oh god, the rifle has been thrown as well. Marcus seems to notice at this exact moment what I do. Go for the rifle, my god. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step towards it, wobbling a bit from my punch. I dive for it. When I hit the floor, it feels like I'm a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall on it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle onto the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this is her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but what's the case, and why not just attack her when we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private. And then, what? He would have done the same to Dennis and me? It seems fitting, really. When we first came across Marcus, he had a gun on us, so I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I had underestimated how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still lying on the ground, and start wrestling for possession, but I am not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure if I prefer the bullet to go, especially in a room full of biochemical tanks. Force the muzzle towards Marcus. Force it towards Marcus. I grin as I push the muzzle towards his face. Realizing he's literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I jump to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy. I wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she's still managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it was like to. He surprised me by lunging towards me, leaping in front of the door, like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim at him carefully. I have to react fast. You know, people are not gonna like my decision, but I'ma shoot him, even though it's gonna create a loud sound. I react before thinking. My muscles take over, and my finger squeezes the trigger. The blast is deafening. I watch as Marcus falls to the floor. A terrifying thought races through my mind. If some of these things are here, and they didn't know that we were here before, they as hell know now. Marcus falls to the floor. I see right away that I shot him in the shoulder. His arm dangles loosely, already covered in blood. He roars in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. This bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil. Along with everybody involved, he wails on the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. Well, damn, son. That's a bit mean of you. If you want to stop me, you'd better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'd deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body waiting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. But I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. Oh god. I'ma kill him. I don't care. He decided to kill Marcus. Great. I aim for his head and start to scoot the razor, but I can't complete the motion while looking at him. I close my eyes tightly and squeeze the trigger. The mother bursts and I hear Marcus crumple to the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen with my eyes closed and my teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body and instead lean down at Amy. Are you okay? I ask. She nods slowly. We have to go, she says, her voice raspy. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We start towards them. I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors, I say. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You need to come with me to the command center now. We'll be back for him soon. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. Oh god. It is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from. But there is no time to wait now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static sound rings from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator that she has mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back at Marcus's body, motionless. As we start running, and after a few strides, another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of the recordings I've heard of whale songs. Oh, okay. I look behind us to see if anything has entered the doorway I came through. It is large, bright, but it is too far away to clearly see, and I have no interest in seeing it. Whether pulling that hydraulic door would have helped, I'm not sure, but seeing how close they are, I regret not doing it. I speed up my step to follow Amy, as she leads the way to another elevator. She is panting furiously, but pushes on. I can hear something rattling her in her breath. Likely the result of Marcus's attacks. This makes me imagine of how cold, uncaring eyes must have looked. Staring down at her as he tried to deliver the truth. Tried to deliver her death. Okay. How is she still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. At least you handed me the gun. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. Oh. So if I gave Marcus the gun, Amy would have been dead. Okay. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. We'll be fine, don't worry. I'm not so sure, she says, her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure if I can blame her. I just had wanted to say something encouraging. I guess we finally come to the elevator, at the end of the row of silos. Now, I'm more concerned with the monstrosity that is on our heels. Amy furiously slaps at the button to open the doors. They slide open. It feels like it's taking forever. We squeeze in before the doors are opened all the way. Amy actually falling to her knees and screaming. I ready the rifle and watch her helplessly as the doors finally reach their full opening capacity. As they hold open, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent like a white glow outlined an impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape that's also entered the biocamera. And another. The third one breaks away from the other two. Taking a quick wide, it moves with an eerie spread, heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the buttons so close to the elevator doors over and over again, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. I curse whoever designed these damn doors. Hide in the elevator. I'm not gonna shoot. I'm not that kind of guy. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen, but I can't help but peeking around the corner. I hold the rifle steadily, ready to fire. That's when I see a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape, and their colors, but my mind can't process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid. But there's nothing that these things are. They are gray and white, and they don't seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages, but use them to glide. They move like ghosts and seem to jerk every few feet or so. I am pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of their moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they are moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if the shape within the room has reshapen itself for their existence. That peculiar effect on the air makes their movements seem like something moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in a few seconds. Oh god. I check the rifle and see that my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm gonna have to be choosy. I'm not gonna shoot. I'm just gonna hope they go away. You decided to conserve your ammo. They keep advancing, even though I know the doors may not close in time. I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing off any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not sure if a gun would even affect them. Finally, the elevator doors close and the creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and cry out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the walls and elevator doors, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball on the far corner of the elevator, crying, and I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping these creatures don't find Dennis, as he waits by the hangar door where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to get them open now. End of chapter 3. Damn. Whew. Familiar corridor, and give me our stats. The blind truth. You and 59% of players told Dennis he's probably fine. Slow them down. You and 65% of players sided with Marcus and did not pull the hydraulic door. Didn't pull the hydraulic door. Who to trust? You and 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. Murder or mercy? You and 42% of players killed Marcus. Now and later, you and 68% of players conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. Wow, so the only thing I was not with the people on is killing Marcus, which I can kind of see because probably people are probably nicer than me. But yeah, this had to be like the longest episode of this game ever, because the other ones are like maybe 30, 40 minutes. This was an hour. This was a solid hour. Yeah. Okay, my throat really hurts. I'm gonna go grab some water. But as for now, thank you guys so much for watching. Cannot wait to play more of this. This is one of the best series on the channel that I believe at the moment. And also the thumbnails are kind of dope as well. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. And I will see all of you guys in the next video. Bye-bye. hate Marcus so much. Idiot. Such an idiot.